thinking maybe I should actually like let people rap to jingle, the song, the official soundtrack for the show. But I know you have a couple of trends.
Right.
Me, I can dance, I can do all things, but there's this, but there's this one that I think, no, I know me, I can do it. Like like I can do it too, which is the ocean wave.
Right.
Is it challenge or dance?
Challenge, yeah.
Challenge. So, and I know you kept asking me about this. See, in life, at the right time, things happen. So I feel like this is the right time that it was meant to happen because I actually get to do it with like the boss, like the originator of the dance. Like I've arrived. Oh my god. I never had spirit. But this is where we are. So King and I would actually like do the first of all, he would actually like walk me through the you walk me through on your own. Then we'll do like sample, a sample dance, and then we can or maybe you can do it and I'll watch up there.
No.
Then we can do it. I'll go straight to the dance. Okay.
Straight.
Well, as usual, I have our producer actually here in the screenshots. Shout out to our producer actually, the producer of the show. Can we do the dance?
Kingz Kid, yeah boy, ocean wave.
Bro,
Tell me where you want to go.
this is not my fault.
Okay, so
Tell me where you want to go, where you want me to. Even do
That's the
I'll go wherever you need me. Send me
I'm his hype man. Yeah, I've been his hype man in the past, so
I'll go wherever you need me. Send me you call me out, right upon all this. Oh yeah. And there I find you in the
Awesome smart.
No, we'll get to the voice.
Okay.
I'm loving you, you're loving me. You know she be my favorite stand. Your grace aroused, your love surrounds. You are my
The dance is finishing.
You're always right here with me. You are my God.
Alright, we're there in
You are my God.
3, 2,
You're always right here.
1, 2, 3. Okay, slide to the left, slide to the right, 2 steps back,
Do the ocean wave.
hey, slide to the left,
Slide to the right. 2 steps back. Do the ocean wave.
hey,
Slide to the left. Slide to the right.
hey.
2 steps back. Do the ocean wave.
Example.
Ocean wave. Ocean wave.
Okay, that's enough, bro.
I'll go wherever you need me. Send me
From where we came from.
Bro, it's not easy for us, man.
Yo, let's we'll be back. This was therapy or life. This was a combination of weight loss and fast rate heart pace.
What did you say?
Okay, I think it was life and therapy.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, really got.
So the rest, no, where were they?
After and then we're burning the beans. That's like we're burning the beans. So we just have watching top beans, so yeah, we're burning the beans. But to be fair, I actually did not script anything. Like with Ira, I was sitting on, I was typing things down, like questions. But with you, I didn't type anything down because I wanted it to be very like natural, like a natural flow of things. Like basically just having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I brought you on the show, which is exactly what I said in the beginning of Ira as well, is that for season 1, what we did was we basically like talked to Ghanaians or black people in the diaspora and the struggles that they've been through on that side, and what they are anticipating or what they expect, what their perception of Ghana is. But for season 2, what I wanted to do was to actually talk to people like on the ground, like the people who actually live in Ghana, and then like emphasize or talk about like their experiences, their struggles, their strides, just have a conversation.
Right.
And the first person I spoke to was an entrepreneur. She has her own company.
Wow.
So then I'm like, with you, it's not even. It's just to basically like document the journey. I've seen parts of it. I mean, in the last couple of years, I've been out of the system, so I don't really know. I saw the beginning of it, and every time I see you like accomplish something, it makes me smile, and it makes me believe that like hard work actually pays off, and sticking to your brand, like brand, is everything. Because from the very beginning, you identify what your brand was and you stuck to it. So for people who don't know who you are, would you actually like a brief introduction? Actually, interested in hearing how you introduce yourself.
Who am I? Okay. My name is Kingz Kid. No, there's no AKA. Kingz Kid is the AKA, bro. Come on. Yeah, I am a gospel minister and a privileged son and servant of God, with a unique calling, whose end product is the reconciliation of all of God's lost children, but through diverse forms, like through music, entertainment, and all sorts of
incorporate all the arts. Because if you look at those videos and stuff,
yeah.
just so you know, just was the first person to make me a video vixen. And yeah, I'm a video vixen. Just so you know, I've been in music videos.
What video was that though?
It was two of them. It was that
right?
and it was another one.
Shoemaker.
The one had the shoemaker.
Hey, it's not shoemaker. Don't call myself shoemaker. Anyway, shoe shine is even
Shoe shine. Shoe shine. They actually wouldn't know it's me because we have like, a hat on.
Your hat on.
But the scene that had the smoke. This producer, I let this slide because of the big shots. I let this slide because of the big shots, but
right.
Yeah. So yeah, just so you know, you are the first person to make me a video vixen.
Vixen.
Me, I'm a vixen.
Vixen.
But yeah, first person, but
yeah.
Maybe actually make a video. Me. You. Video as bees therapy. Season 2 is a vibe. Anyways, but yeah, as I said, he made me a video vixen, so I think there's nothing I'm grateful for that King has done. Well, put me on the front of the camera. But then to be fair, that's how I actually started. Like getting comfortable in front of the camera.
Wow.
Remember the first time we shot the video, I was just awkward.
Yeah.
And then the second time was more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's interesting how, like, sometimes things that happen, you will not necessarily understand. It's like later on in life when you look back on how this thing actually. Talking to you now is actually how do you become moment? I'm like, actually, you are the first person to put me in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Interesting. Life is very interesting. But this is what I'll tell you.
I'll give you my account number. You can thank me there, okay?
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
And then it's actually to how we actually met. As I said, when I was in a mass choir, I didn't fit in because my uniforms were always. I think they told us to wear jeans, and it's just I wore ripped jeans, and I was called out, and then I'm like, this is not for me. And then another guy came and said, I formed the group Melvin. You fit in. I was like, I told him like, this is me. I'm not willing to wherever it says you can join it. That was Vessels of Life. When I joined Vessels of Life, you were the keyboardist.
Right.
So we knew you as like a keyboardist that could play other instruments. So Kid can play most instruments, but there was one time where they asked you to sing a song or lead a song, and that was the first time we heard you sing. How did you know music was like singing was it? Because you can play instruments as well. You could easily maybe be an instrumentalist, but how did you know singing was what you were meant to do?
As cliched as it may sound, music actually started from a very, very young age. And I don't blame the people who always say that in interviews, because like the trace starts out very early in your life. It's like if you are attentive enough, God is always speaking and He's leading you in a certain way. You realize that okay, this is the path that He's trying to put me on. But it didn't start for me fully until I think let me say this: my earliest what's the word?
Singing experience or memory
Yes,
of
my earliest memory
yes.
was I think around 9 years old or 10. I grew up listening to an eclectic mix of music. My uncles used to listen to different sorts, like all sorts of music, reggae, Michael Jackson, pop, R&B, funk, and all of that. They are big on music. So unfortunately, none of them was a singer though. So I think I'm the first singer in my family. Yeah, I think
I'm sure they must be proud of
on both sides.
I'm proud.
Yeah, I know you are. Thank you, bro. So yeah, I grew up there on those types of music, those genres of music. I remember that I used to like a lot of reggae and Michael Jackson though. You see me running around the house.
Would you
singing.
ever like do like a reggae something?
I think if I would do it, would be more of reggaeton because reggae has
Yeah, I mean,
reggaeton.
It's obvious that you will actually not do like the regular way.
Yeah,
for you, because you have never been like traditional. You've always been, and that's like the strength that you've always had. You've always been.
Yeah.
Well, guys, look, I feel like I'm going ahead of myself because I know this is a conversation I've been looking forward to for a very long time. So explain that life for making your points.
Right. So yeah. Then at the age of 12, I was in church at my uncle's place one time, and then a visiting pastor called me for it and said that he saw me on stages and billboards and stuff, that I should take music seriously because it was going to take me around the world. And that was the first time God spoke to me about the path that he actually had for me. And you know what God says, that he won't do anything without confirming through his prophets. And I thank God for that blessing, that gift that he gave me from a very, very early stage. And I held on to that prophecy like a baby hold on to his mother's mother's clothes, like, yo, this is what God has said, it has to happen. I've always been that type of guy. But then I think I was a little too expectant because I was waiting for a Hollywood experience or something.
Well, like some big company.
Some big company
will just sign you
sign you,
like,
change your destiny, more than $1 million, father, $2 million, a house, Benz. You know, that was my vision for it, but it didn't happen like that. But I used to sing in my uncle's church that early. He used to give me the stage every 24th dinner for me to sing and perform. And I'll call my little cousins, give them pass to sing. Yo, bro, sing tenor. You do this, do that. And it was always a beautiful performance or experience. And I was like, oh wow, this is actually me. This is what I really, really have to do. Fast forward, high school. I was still writing music. Every book. Every notebook I've ever owned has lyrics somewhere. You know,
So we've had lyrics that has passed and gone out.
Yeah,
someone.
Songs like, trust me, man. Fallen Soldier songs. They are all like, I wrote a lot of songs, even like just a week ago. I was going through my phone and I deleted about 100 songs that I've written. That's
because even there were songs that even me personally, King would tell me it's not on the album, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I like that song. And it's like, nah, there are better tracks. And I'm like, but King, I like. That's the thing. Like he's a gifted. Like this is how you know this is somebody's gift when you don't struggle to do things like. If I'm sure if I was to give you a beat now, you could easily write a song like easily.
Yeah.
Would you say that's how to determine if a gifting is when it comes to you with ease?
Well, that's how to. Yeah, I think for the talent, it shows, like I said, from a very early age, God intentionally places those signs there for you to know, and the people around you. I don't know how some parents are still so blinded that they don't see that, this is the path God wants his kid to be on. This is the path, and he makes it like that for it to be plain for everyone to see. You get it here, but sometimes we ourselves also are ignorant to it. You realize that it comes to you naturally. I could be sitting down right now and I'll hear a tone from your phone and I'll write a song with it, or I'll make a beat or something out of it. What else was I called to do if not music, if that was not my path? I understand, but then that's where the calling also comes in. Yes, there's the talent, but talent and purpose are two different things. So when God gives you the talent, you identify it. Now you pray to him, find the Father. Is this the path that you have for me? What is this talent meant for? Is it for now? Because some people operated in talents that were not yet.
They give it prematurely. Things that were meant to come for like 9 months.
You see that God gave us all different abilities. Some of the abilities never made sense 10 years ago. this year,
And this dispensation.
this dispensation, I'm like,
It makes a lot of
okay,
sense.
so that's
the
why
people, the people are actually ready to receive the
you understand? Yeah, it's more relevant now. I'm like, okay. So I always wanted to do this 10 years ago, and it never happened. It's because it wasn't time for it. Yes, yeah.
Timing is everything.
Yeah. So yeah, I've always known that this is the path God had for me, and I embraced it fully. But it didn't happen until my second year in Central University. That's
I remember very well.
Yeah.
And you said you're going to go into music. I think
Music,
I was
my friends were like, "Ah."
I was good. Yeah, Kingz Kid was going to go into gospel music, and I'm like, my reaction, like that hesitation, was because I've at that time I've had like the privilege of seeing the terrain.
Right.
And it's hard. Like pursuing gospel music generally is difficult.
Yeah.
In the Ghana, like and the Ghana went music at that time, because at that time music was not necessarily considered a lucrative career.
I don't blame you or anybody at all.
So
like even I had fears, like
and that's the thing, like, and we were projecting our fears on you.
Yeah.
Coming from a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that time somebody could have easily been broken, like because but what kept you? Because even when you told me I didn't have any room for you, I was like, Charlie, this one is you. This one. I mean, I get there's something in church, to actually build a career from this thing is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Like even I was not encouraging, like even I projected my fears, but what like kept you, like what like kept you going, irrespective of all the fearful projections that people were giving you, what kept you going still?
I don't know what the correct answer to this would be, but this is something I heard a man of God saying, and he said that God doesn't call people because of their talents. He calls them because of faithfulness. Before he calls you, he knows what's in your heart. He knows that this guy is a guy who can carry this vision or this dream to this point for me. I think from that earlier stage, I knew that it was not like my own thing. I knew that this was like an assignment or something that God wanted to do. And I was just privileged to be a vessel through which he wanted to do it. You understand? And the Bible says, whatsoever is one of God overcomes the world. I knew that, like, if it's from God, it will stand. And I guess, like, before all of the trials started coming, he had put that desire in my heart so strong that nothing or no one could quench it. You understand? So I had that fire burning in my soul. I had that fire burning in my spirit since a very, very young age. I'm like, I'm going to do this. Am I really going to? How is it going to happen? This kind of music is not even allowed. Some people were talking about it and they thought I didn't know. Bro, I knew. I didn't know the kind of music I was doing then. It was Ghana. You understand? Yeah. Even in churches, it wasn't accepted. So, bro, you know what's happening around you. But then also, you should be able to focus on that voice of the Spirit that tells you, even through the storm, He's with you. Like, he calms you down even in the fire, and he tells you, this is the assignment I have for you, bro. Will you go or will you not? God asked Abraham to leave his father's house. There was no blueprint, no map. Just go. And it takes a heart of faithfulness, which only God himself can see in a person, for him to decide to assign them.
This is the guy I want to use.
Yeah, this is the guy I want to use for this thing, because I'm not even going to lie, and sorry if this sounds rude, but I started with a lot of people who stopped. A lot of them,
and I don't necessarily blame them, because it's the gospel music period is hard. It's not even a Ghana thing. It's not even like everywhere in the world. Gospel pursuing, like sticking to gospel music is hard. It's a very hard thing. So I don't necessarily blame them. My question would be, because you said that you knew from an early age that this is what you would do. How did you know that was the right time?
So, second year, Central University.
Same room, this time.
Went for an all-night. And when I say this, it seems like I wasn't going to church before then. I was going to church. I was very actively involved in church. But that particular all-night.
It's always that pointed.
Yeah, that particular all-night was the turning point for me. And I don't know how it happened. But before then, you know, I mean, I released my R&B song.
That's the one I have. I have R&B song.
I performed it at SRC, whatever.
But the thing
people
is,
had it on their phones, you know.
But then the thing is, you know, like sometimes people come up with songs and it's like, Charlie, my brother, I'm going to sing gospel. This
is
But the track at that time was still very good, very relevant.
Is now, like,
and I mean, even now, if you play it, would still be relevant now. Like, it's not like maybe, you know, sometimes it's very sad because sometimes people like, maybe like I want to be a pastor because you can't anything else. It's not pastoral work. It's not like this. So like then it must be me because I'm supposed to be a pastor. So
what God did then though was that 6 months after I released that R&B song, and I had like other gigs with other artists who were reigning then, and they were trying to put me on songs and all of that. I had a lot of like arguments and
people wanted to
dissing me as well and all of that. Like what's wrong with you? By 6 months down the line was when I actually started. I feel like God knew that if this guy, let me even rewind to what's it called? Stars of the Future audition. I was 19 when I went. And
I remember that.
I remember that. I'm 19. I'm this shy. I'm whatever. I should go home. I'm not meant to be on that show. But I thank God for all of those experiences now because God knows, only He knows where I would have been by now. You know, because God knows I wasn't going to be a gospel artist if I was on Stars of the Future. Yeah, so He intentionally prepared me. You know,
He kept you till you were ready
till I was ready for the assignment. Like, okay, this is your assignment. Not this, not that. And even now, He's still keeping me for higher things. You understand? A lot of people will not understand, but God is God. Ultimately, He knows the end from the beginning. He alone is the author, as the Bible says. And so we cannot tell the end of the book from, page 5. He knows what is written in that book. And I just thank God that I'm one of the books. So, yeah.
So that all night was the day.
That all night was the turning point for me. After the all night, I remember I just said a prayer. I was like, I don't know, purpose just hit me in the face. And I was like, God, if it's time for me to do what You brought me here for, then help me. Let it start. 2 weeks later, I depend on You. Like 2 weeks after that, thank you, Papa. I'm like, okay, let's go.
That one was fire.
Yeah, it was fire. But this next album is gonna be more fire. But that album was amazing. How I even wrote the songs was just beautiful. Thank you, Papa. Like I remember a lot of people were dissing Money Beats. Why He gave me that beat because you should go and give to somebody or someone.
But
he was my tight friend, so
that's the thing. For me, right? And this is something I've always said. So King and I were in the same hostel.
Yeah.
And there were 6 of us.
Yeah.
And out of the 6 of us, 5 of us are pursuing our own things, are running our own gigs.
It's beautiful, man.
And the one person who never went to class is the one who actually gone ahead to do his masters. He is now like the school person.
I don't even know why you brought this up.
No, honestly,
that's the irony. The irony of life.
The irony of life, like out of the 6 of us, 5 of us were diligent to school.
Whoever thought?
5 of us were diligent to school, and now I'm nothing to do with school. Like we're pursuing our things, and the one person we all thought, this guy would never went to class. He's the one.
Is he in the army now? Is he in the army now?
Yeah, he's done with the army. He's working now.
He's working.
And I remember once again I was talking about can you imagine the irony of life? Like out of all the 6 of us, he's the one who's still in school, and then the 5 of us we are all like doing our own things, trying to because at some point
that guy, man, I miss him. I don't want to mention his name, but I miss him.
Because at some point all 5 of us were running our own business.
Everyone's running their own business, and it was beautiful. I go here and he's doing cake in a jar. I pass here, Kwame has clothes going on.
Circumstances. Don't judge people because we could easily have looked at.
Hey
man said, this guy amounts to nothing. He's actually gone ahead to do
this. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Breaking the news to your parents. I wanted to go into music.
13th January 2000 and something. I wrote the date down. So I'm working.
How did that go?
Because by then I was living with them, and right after graduation, you know how the whole God
there was an episode.
Phenomenal.
No, like this guy has put the sacrifices he's made for this career. You must be called. Like somebody will look at look at the now.
Yeah.
And like we are in the micro generation, people look at the end
Yeah.
and they want it now.
Yeah.
Forgetting that people like whoever you're looking at actually puts in the time to get to where they are, putting sacrifice, putting the time to get to where they are.
Yeah.
So if you don't know the story, you can just assume that it was like a one day wonder, or like the person just overnight made it.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that you've put in like the amount of sacrifice that you need to get to where you are. People will understand. And I'm asking you that how do your parents take it? Because it's not even about, because I know the story, but even my story, like just the African parents' mentality of having their child pursue the arts in Ghana. How did that conversation go? Because mine was like years of experience.
You know? So yeah, like I said, I remember that date. I just even sat them down. I called for a meeting. It was the first time I called for a meeting. And I was like, by then I started doing it, in the shadows. So they knew what I was doing and all of that. And then I remember calling for the meeting and I was like, I lied to them. I was like, so I made God a promise that after I graduate, I'll do ministry for 1 year and then I'll continue later. 1 year. That's what I told them, bro, but I knew it was a lie. I knew it wasn't why. I knew what God had said to me. So I was just like trying to, ease them into, do you know what happened that day?
I'm sure you'll never forget that day.
It was like a minor apocalypse, man. I can never forget that day. I always have it in my head, I always used to have it in my head because if you don't let it go, eventually it becomes something that we call affectation. It becomes way. So you always in your head you're like, these people said that it won't work, it's working and all of that. That's how. So the year after that, you can imagine, my whole mind was like, this thing has to work.
It becomes an infatuation.
Exactly. So it shifts from purpose to affectation. Like
wrong.
I have to show these people that this thing will work. It has to work. It has to work. It has to work, and all of that. But anyway, rewind to that meeting. I heard some of the harshest words I've heard in my life. And that night in that meeting, I still remember those words. But
it's interesting how
I'm
things that people say,
you
would always remember.
But I thank God for the boldness of being able to tell them. And I mean, in the end, it was talk. They kept talking. At the point, I had to close my eyes and just silence.
Living in the same house.
But I was there by then. But they didn't know that before that meeting, God had already orchestrated for me to leave because I think I couldn't have fulfilled purpose if I stayed. That was mine. For mine, the only way was because, let me paint the picture. It's my stepdad, my mom. They've taken you to school, paid fees and all of that. You get it. And then now, that's what you...
When you're supposed to return the favor, you're saying that you still need
You understand.
You still need to...
And it's not really his fault. He's an academic. I love him so much. It's too bad he passed recently. Rest in peace to my dad. But he was coming from a place of love. And like you're saying, they haven't seen anybody make it to gospel music before. There was no way on God's earth that they thought that I will ever be on a billboard or on a TV show. Never. Where is it from? Because this is the boy who just walking in the house and
it's very similar to me. My dad actually he said mention any wealthy chefs and I was like, no, mention a Ghanaian chefs. And then the thing was, at that time I didn't even know any chefs in Ghana. You know about because now it's like a common thing for people to say I'm a chef. Like now I can mention a couple of chefs in Ghana.
There's a lot. I'm like, look at you.
To look up to nobody I knew. And I think the type of the genre you wanted to go into there.
Well, first of all, it wasn't like I was going out to do gospel like the conventional type. Look at the gospel I was also doing.
It's totally different.
It was wild. So I don't blame them. I mean, even my uncle at the point had his own doubts. But he had to pray. Even he was a pastor. He prayed to God. Made it plain like, okay, that's the boy's purpose. Allow it. You get it here because purpose most times is time relevant. Sometimes the clouds start to form earlier, on that path. And I think the clouds for my ministry or my life started to form very early. and it was strange. Like, what kind of cloud do you think you are? You know? Yeah, and then the rain. Now it's common. I have a lot of people. There's over 1,000 people who say I inspired them, and they are doing what they do because of me and all of that. And that's the thing with purpose. People's destinies are tied to it. People's lives.
So as a point, it goes beyond even you.
Yeah.
But it's the lives that are meant to affect, lives that are meant to touch.
Yeah.
So I think that for me that was a turning point. When you move from proving that the people who actually said things to me wrong to now understanding that it's actually like it's not even for you, it's for people. And you are meant to like pave the way for so others can follow.
Lift those gates off so people can also have access. And that's what it is. And once you get there, life becomes easier actually. Purpose is beautiful when you understand what it's for. Like the purpose of a thing is what defines it. So when you get to that place, you're like, okay, this is my purpose. Okay, I'm meant to be a Bluetooth speaker. That means you cannot connect me with the cord and an aux cable. That's not my purpose.
And for those that that's their purpose, it's okay.
That's their purpose. It's alright. Yeah. So even when I started even this same genre, I remember some of the conventional gospel artists came to me and told me, bro, this thing will not work. Start singing some of the old songs. Ghana people, that's how they are. And imagine, and the people who told me that were people who were very respected, and maybe they were saying it from
was a veteran.
Yeah, but like they were saying it from a place of like maybe
concern.
Yeah, like concern,
from a good place.
From a good place. Yeah, but was that God's place? A good place doesn't mean.
There's a difference between good advice and God advice.
God advice. Yeah.
And if you don't understand that, you would always be confused. Like sometimes it's just. I remember Prophet Anwar said something. It's like there's a difference. Sometimes people tell you things and you assume it's a prophet. Sometimes it's just good advice.
That's it. Yeah.
You need to come to the place where you're able to determine between good advice versus God advice.
Whatever
God say versus there's somebody that's they're not meant to be harmful. They're actually genuinely concerned for you. And this is what they've seen maybe from life experience. This is what they've done. And the opportunity to you, but the decision comes for you. And if you're not very sure as to this is what your purpose is, you'll be all over the place.
Yeah. That's the truth. Yeah. So I mean, I thank God for. I mean, the purpose you gave me is a beautiful thing. Now I look back and I'm like, wow, God, like we really paid a lot of price for this thing, and we're still paying it. And I just can't wait to see what he's about.
How did you come up? So first of all, you came and said, I want to go to music. Oh, hold on a minute. Okay, it is what you're meant to do. Who am I?
Yeah.
Then he comes and says like. And we had actually...
When did you have that conversation? HMC yesterday?
Yes, we had actually never heard you rap.
Yeah, none of you had heard me.
We had, like...
Or even sing. Non-stop gospel.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you come up? Like, how did you come up? Or is this something you wanted to go into? How did you know you could rap? Because... how did I rap? No, I mean, like, this is a thing of... I'm always in rapping. There's some people, like, singing in the shower, but is there something like, where you, like in the shower? Was one of those things, or...
Yeah, I've always, like I said, from that 9-year-old stage where I was doing it in my uncle's church, I was writing my own lyrics. 12 years old, I was writing my own lyrics. I was writing songs and I called my mates. Rapping and singing.
So it's like, it's always been there.
Yeah, it's always been there.
It's just the right time.
Yes, that's the timing. Yeah. Yeah. So, then eventually.
So timing is everything.
It is. This is something I preached about to some people some time ago. I was making an analogy and I was like, imagine you're in a pharmacy, right? And in the pharmacy you're a drug. But you are, let's say, you're a sanitizer. And you are standing next to it. You are standing right next to a shelf where there's paracetamol. And for 50 years, every day people come in and buy paracetamol. Like, why are people buying power like this? Am I also not useful? I'm here, aren't I? Like, I'm supposed to go. It was not your time. You didn't know that God had prepared that in 2000 and something, there will first of all be that first one that came to Sierra Leone and the rest. What was it called? Ebola. Ebola just made. SARS. Yeah, and then Ebola just made. And then God's like, okay, sanitizer. Time to get off the shelf. This is your time. You've been sitting in that spot maybe Ghana didn't dust, but while you are there, you make sure you don't lose
The
your
value is
value
still there.
as a sanitizer.
Regardless of the time,
Yeah, you're
value
like, yo,
is-
fam,
at your point in time,
sanitizer.
you're still
My
valuable.
time will come. Maybe at that point, you don't even know what your use is. I'm a sanitizer. You just know 1% of what your purpose is.
You can't
to
even
be.
pronounce
Yeah.
your name.
Sanitizer. Like, yeah.
Not Santitina. And you can't even pronounce your name.
You don't know what your purpose is. You're just sitting on the shelf 20 years, 30 years. What's happening to me? And then in a month,
You are
your
the
sales
most-
go
your
higher
price-
than
your
paracetamol
price
at
is
the
the most
Yeah.
valuable thing
Imagine
at that
how.
particular point in
And
time.
then what? You thought it was over after Ebola. Next thing you know, there's something called COVID-19 coronavirus. Right?
Like even the
You
worst
have
of
to-
it all.
Yeah, and then your price is not even quadrupled. It's multiplied by 1,000. You get it? Yeah. That's what purpose is. Purpose is time relevant. Most times it is time relevant, and sometimes God shows you just a little glimpse of it, so that like God, Holy Spirit just took my mind to the story of David. David was going to fight Goliath. There was something that was written about his life. He was going to not fight Goliath, kill Goliath. Before then, I think it was 20 or it was 17. How many years before he became king? God had prepared him by making him fight lions and fight bears. Not just fight them, but kill them. That was training for Goliath. He didn't know. You understand? Yeah. So while you're fighting the bear and the lion, just know that, okay, let me do it with all my strength. Hold on. But there's a Goliath waiting ahead of you. You have no idea. Whoever thought small boy David would be the one to kill Goliath? All these boys with the armor and the six packs and the big arms, they could not. Even Saul,
the king.
yeah, even the king Saul. And
Yeah.
when he was sending David, trust me, he thought he was sending the guy to his death.
Yeah, usually, so
Like-
he even armed him.
Yeah, he armed him,
gave him
yeah.
the king's.
Yeah.
Gave him the king's armor, like was
It
protecting the
doesn't
boy.
even make sense why he allowed a kid to go. Because in modern history, modern like current times, imagine a prime minister asking like how 70-year-old boy to go and probably go and fight ISIS or something with no arms. It doesn't make sense. You'll sue you or you go to jail for hundreds
It
of
even
years.
takes me
But
back to what you said about the parents.
Yeah.
Like you tell your parents, I want to go into
yeah,
this.
yeah,
And then they arm you with their fears.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Saul was so afraid that
Yeah.
Goliath would kill this boy,
Yeah.
he gave him his
Yeah, he
his
gave him
armor.
his armor and it was too
you
heavy
look-
for him.
it-
Bro,
it-
this is not my
it was
armor.
too
This is
heavy.
yours. Yeah.
Their fears, the fear that will
Yeah.
portray onto you
Yeah.
is so heavy. If you hold on to them,
And that's the
it
deception.
will
He thought that the guy needed a
Yeah.
warrior's armor, but
Yeah.
his only armor he needed was the word
Yeah.
of God. Yeah,
Yeah.
the only armor he needed was the training God had given him and 5 stones in the slingshot. That's all he needed. You understand? And look at what we're still singing about him today. He inspires all of us. You understand? So, yeah, that's the thing about purpose.
Being a creative in Ghana,
Creative in Ghana.
like
Being a creative in
what's
Ghana.
one way, like if I was being a creative, if I was to tell you, King, I want to go into music. No, actually, like, I want to start making candles. Now, no, now you some people saying
Yeah, I
everything.
understand.
But the person, like from that time,
Yeah.
what would you tell me? Like, are you sure?
From that time, I think from that time when I started, maybe you don't understand. Now, I'll rather sit the person down because of what I've been through.
Are you serious? Rather now you
Yeah,
want
now
to-
rather I'll sit you down, make sure you know what you're going
like,
into.
like,
Like,
you know what you're stepping into.
yeah, it's not a walk in the park. You understand? Yeah. So sit you down, prepare you, tell you, oh, you want to do this? Okay, pray, find out if it's your purpose first. Why? Because the challenges that are coming, no. If it's not your purpose and you just want to come and do, hey, you fall off. That's
If
the
you
truth.
look
So
at
when,
the
yeah.
and fair and think that this is what it is.
Yeah, you think no.
My brother
So I'll
guys
sit you
don't
down
want
like,
to
oh, you want to do? A lot of people come to me they're like, I want to do music, and sometimes I just chuckle or I snag it. They're like, oh, but why you they laugh? I'm like, no, come, you come home, let's talk. When you come, I'll talk to you. I'll tell you, bro, you pay a price. I'll tell you everything I've gone through to prepare you. It's not to let you, not to beat you down. It's supposed to rather stir you up and let you know that it comes with sacrifices. It's not just a walk in the park. And I don't want to ever I don't want anybody to ever say that, oh, they came to see me that they wanted to do music, sorry, and then it didn't work. I don't want to see you fall off at the end of
So
the
you
day.
basically like set the person on and clear the club, the facade.
Yeah, I'm like, okay,
this is what the facade.
Yeah, see,
This is the pop.
This is how I want to be a chef, and then
And
they're
you
seeing Chef Nee, they're doing,
Like,
vlogs and
I think
stuff.
some people like this is what I tell people. If I like
Are you
if
cool?
somebody I have a child and
Yeah.
somebody wants to be a chef.
Yeah.
I'll sit down and think and be like, Intigo, like after all I've been through, like you still want this boy to told this, but I'll ask him, are you sure? Don't you want to? Because you know the thing with the creative side is there's no set pace or way into succeeding. It's but if it's like an accountant, you know you start as an accountant, basic accountant, you just write out the ranks. It's like there's a
example for him in my case when I started. There was who was I going to say?
Like the white collar jobs, I think it's a bit easier because it's like there's standards, like there are principles, there are systems that would if you have to follow methods to get to the top. But when it comes to the arts, it's like there's no path. Like anything goes. It's hard, you know. Being a creative in Ghana, like
Kingz like I'm weird and I crashed it. Was it methodology? Or empirical, whatever. There's stuff that has been collated over time. There's how many accountants have there been? Over millions. How many have succeeded? How many gospel artists have made it in Ghana to raise into the ranks? It's a few. But so do you want to be the difference? So right now I have people who I'm fathering, right? Like 10 boys who I'm fathering.
Disciple, like that's the thing. Yeah. My boss has to disciple others.
Yeah, and the kind of things I'm pushing into their heads is truth. Like, it's truth. But I want you to go harder as well. You get it. You have to do more than I did when I was starting because it's more.
Because now it's even harder. Like it's because now the good thing with you was you're just a few. But now there's a lot of people. So you need to even work harder than
put in more work, but also be different, be legit. Because there's a lot of fake people in the system as well. You understand? Yeah. So I'll sit you down, talk to you. I'll encourage you to do it, but I just want to make you know where you're going into first. Like the Bible talks about a man going on a journey without counting the cost. For most of us, we didn't know what the cost was, bro. We were just being obedient, and then we paid price along the way.
God
so
was
now,
merciful enough to
bring
this back.
Yeah.
Always some people God will always tell you where He's taking you, but He never tell you how, because if He tells you, you know more.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, no, it's very true.
So always tells you that
He shows you the
fix your eyes on the prize.
Destination.
But He says it in Scripture that just keep your eyes on the prize. Because that is what's the most important thing. Because the race here, hey, it's hard. It's not for the swift.
Yeah. So you have a destination in your mind. Joseph was told you'd be a prime minister, God revealed it to him, but did you know you go to prison? Would he have still accepted that calling if they told him you go to jail and you'll be framed and all those things? He wouldn't have. So the destination is clear, but bro, the journey, all you got.
Final remarks. For any young person now, make sure to ask me for any young person now, I feel deflated. Any young person that wants to, because I mean, like, even the things that I went through with you. Remember one time we went to the Ghana Music Awards and we went back and the police stopped us, as gospel artists. These people decided to stop and search us. We had to take off our shoes and they didn't believe in gospel artists because of the way we are dressed.
You know.
They had to take off our shoes. I remember they let me unroll my pants because people had weed in their pants
and stuff.
Just because of how we were dressed, they couldn't understand that we were gospel artists. We were showing them tickets. We were showing them CDs, and that's just one day. Like that's like me living your one day. It's like one day. That's like me living your few moments. And so then to think about like years of this experience, imagine going for like events like a gospel artist and you come with like your sunglasses and people are looking at you like
the confidence that we needed.
How did you cope with the mindset of like, how did you deal with the Ghanaian mindset of this is not what we know? How did you deal with that? Did you surround yourself with the right people, or what kept you?
I didn't really have like I said, I didn't have a lot of people doing it when I started. What kept me would be, I think, God's promise. And this one of these days, a few months ago, Emoji called me and was like, do you know that you saw this thing years ago? And I was like, what thing? And he was telling me about how they should present themselves, how they should do all of this. He said, I saw it a long time ago, even before they even started, that God bless me for being faithful and all of that. And then I was like, oh wow, coming from that guy, he's my friend, But he actually acknowledging it. I was like, right now all gospel artists are wearing sneakers and sweaters and shades and stuff. 7 years or 8 years ago, bro, you were a hooligan, a riffraff who sent from hell to come and lead other people to hell. I had people inboxing me directly saying that you are going to hell and you are leading people to hell. You are leading the youth of people to hell.
Like how you
I
did
didn't reply.
Farm meals like that. You don't reply.
I just didn't reply.
Them.
Yeah, I just didn't reply.
I remember the famous thing that your mom would typically say.
What?
The mutual story.
You get it, yeah. So, bro, I just thank God for giving me the heart of faithfulness, even with this vision that He has, and I thank God that from a very early stage I was able to know and acknowledge that it is not my thing; it's His thing that He's doing. So He's the one who defines the terms. I don't define it. All I have to do is to show up. That's it. If I have to show up in shades and sneakers, if I have to show up in this and that. Bear in mind, people didn't know that every time I did those things, I wasn't doing them for fans or swag or to get people to say, this guy has whatever. No, I just did what I felt the Spirit leading me to do, and He used it to change people's mindsets. Do you get it? He was. When I wear shades, it's not because I want, it's not because of fans. The purpose defines the calling. God defines what He wants you to do by where He puts you, what He puts on you. You understand? Yeah. So I became who I am and how I am just by being obedient to His voice. And right now, the boldness that He has given me is 1,000 times more. And I think it's because where He's taking me now is more, is higher grounds. And so I'm ready. That's it. I've never been more ready than now. And I'm ready to see what God wants to do with my life.
Yeah. Alright, Max. For any young person that's listening to you, because I know the moment I put up on my socials on an attack Kingz Kid, like a lot, because even the young people I know who I have around me, like Kingz Kid is somebody that they look up to.
Yeah.
What would your final remarks be for them?
My final remarks would be find your purpose and live it. Because I have seen people who on their deathbeds wish that they had done things differently. And bro, on that bed, for some of them, there's no turning back, except for rare cases like Hezekiah and some people, God will add extra. But at that point, there's nothing you can do. So when you find out what God wants you to do, just do it to the highest maximum. Let me say that. The Bible says there's no difference between the Jew nor the Greek. This is all things that I'm going to understand later. The reason why I became even more bolder in how I present myself and all of that is I heard Bishop Oyedepo say it, and he said that the first time we went to the United States of America, I went to Papa Hagen's church and he saw 17,000 people and he saw, they were sowing seeds and doing whatever. And it was like, God, how can he also do this in Africa? He's an African boy, poor African boy, whatever. And God drew his attention to that Bible verse that said there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek. God is God unto all. What God is doing over there, He can do here. He can do here with anybody who is yielded. And bear in mind, God is not looking for a talented person. He's looking for a yielded person. Once you are yielded to His will and to His purpose, you are malleable. He can just mold you in any way He wants and use you to do what He wants to do. So find your purpose. Don't let go of it. Just pursue it to the fullest. Just make sure you're hearing God's voice and not your head voice, though. Otherwise, when the storms come, you will drown.
This is so random, but if you had to come back in another life, will you choose this path?
I'll start earlier. I think maybe I would have run away from home at the age of 14 or something. Just going to start pursuing it. Because now, I wish I started earlier. I was like, oh, God, really? Because bear in mind, when I started, I didn't know any of these things were going to happen. Like I said, it was just obedient. It's like a GPS. You just have to trust. Take left, then you take right. In 200 meters, do the runabout and go right or go left. Yeah. You just have to keep doing that, and that's how I got here. You understand? So I really wish I started earlier. Like you guys, I don't think you really see me. Like,
interesting.
Let me not say that because there are students watching. But I was going to say some deep things. Like, bro,
yeah, which I can connect with.
I would have started way earlier. Way earlier because now my mom is the one that's introducing me to her friends and people. Oh, Kingz Kid, gospel. I'm like, I look at her, I'm like, It's funny sometimes, but it's like, yes, it's beautiful to see
Good to
what
see
God
when,
has done.
when people actually see what you saw.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so rewarding, you know.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah.
people actually see what
Yeah.
you saw.
It's
Or
so-
when, well, that's because I want to say when what you dreamt about, because what you have
Yeah.
dreamt about, we are already seeing like a glimpse of it.
Yeah, 5%.
I mean, like
Yeah.
we only see glimpse, but when you see
Yeah.
when some of the things that you dreamt about actually
Yeah.
do come into manifestation, it's humbling to see.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
seeing from the eyes of God, it's a great place to
beautiful
be.
thing. Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't feel like I know this episode will be split into two because we just had a long conversation. I'm actually having to end it here because I'm purchasing somebody's house and I've hijacked their living room, so I need to go back. King,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming onto Live Beans and Therapy. And I don't think we could have done this conversation justice on Zoom.
No, bro. I
Yeah.
think this was. I'm sure God was like.
This was
"Look at
meant.
voice."
This is the appointed time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always good because when we couldn't have it, because it was supposed to happen and I had work and you had work and it just didn't happen. And
Yeah.
I've just come to the end of life. When it's not
Yeah.
happening, don't push it.
Don't push it. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't push it. Like
Yeah.
at the right time, it will make sense to you. And it will even like be better than what you imagine it to be.
Yeah.
And this has been better than what I could ever perceive the conversation to
Yeah.
be. But thank you so much for coming and thank you for the dance tips.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so guys, this has been Live Beats and Therapy. My name is Chefney. Catch you in time later. Awesome sauce. Thank you so much, King.
Yo.
This thing was falling on me, you know.
Yeah.